Ronda Rousey went 12-0, finished every opponent in the first round, and became the biggest female athlete in the world.
Ronda Rousey is the new Strikeforce Women's Bantamweight Champion!
Well, what makes me so confident that I can win is I'm the greatest fighter in the world.
It's the new UFC Bantamweight Champion of the world! Oh my God, unbelievable!
Blamed everyone but herself, and spent the next decade proving why she's one of the most hated figures in combat sports.
MMA fans and media are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd of any sport. Like you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And at MMA, it's like the second that you're not on top, you're not shit and you never were shit.
Here's why the woman who built women's MMA became impossible to root for. Ronda Rousey was supposed to be different, the face of women MMA, a trailblazer, a role model, but beneath the manufactured image was someone who couldn't handle competition with grace. When she won, she was a bully. When she lost, she was a victim. And now, almost a decade later, she's on podcasts blaming everyone except herself for why people turned on her. Recently, Ronda appeared on the Bert Kreischer podcast, and instead of reflecting on her mistakes, she doubled down on delusion. She claimed MMA fans are toxic, that they turn on every legend the moment they lose.
MMA fans and media are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd of any sport. Like you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And at MMA, it's like the second that you're not on top, you're not shit and you never were shit.
That legends like Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson, GSP, and Anderson Silva all got the "you ain't shit, you never were shit" treatment.
Chuck Liddell, when he's on top, oh my God, he's the best. The second that he loses, oh, Chuck Liddell ain't shit, he never was shit. You know? And then Rampage Jackson, oh my God, he's the next Mike Tyson, he's so great. Second he loses, oh, Rampage ain't shit, he never was shit.
Yeah.
GSP, oh, he loses, he's not shit, he never was shit.
But here's the problem with that claim. It's completely false. And it proves she still doesn't understand why people actually hate her.
Ronda Rousey was never as good as everyone thought she was. She was just first.
The Ultimate Fighter Season 18. Ronda and Miesha Tate coach opposite teams. Throughout the season, Ronda verbally attacked Miesha with personal insults. Ronda won by armbar in the third round. Dominant.
Bantamweight Champion!
But instead of showing respect, Ronda flipped Miesha off while she was still on the ground in pain, then refused to shake her hand after the fight. Miesha handled it with class. Ronda acted like a child, but because she was undefeated, people excused it. They called it competitive fire. But really, she was just a bully, and bullies who can't handle losing make the worst kind of enemies, themselves. But the Miesha beef was personal history. There was no excuse. November 2015. UFC 193 weigh-ins. Holly Holm extends her hand for the traditional glove touch. Standard practice, a sign of respect. Ronda slaps her hand away, hard, then shoves Holly's fist aside and maintains an aggressive stare. Holly stays calm, professional, but Ronda looks unhinged. After the weigh-in, Ronda's coach Edmund tried to justify it, said Holly disrespected Ronda first, but watch the footage. Holly did exactly what every fighter does at every weigh-in. Ronda was the aggressor, and 24 hours later, Holly kicked her head off, knocked her out cold, and exposed Ronda for what she really was, mentally broken.
Holly Holm is the new UFC Bantamweight Champion of the world! Oh my God, unbelievable!
And when that knockout, she had a choice. Handle the loss with grace like every other champion, or run away like a coward. Guess which one she chose. After the Holly Holm knockout, Ronda was supposed to attend the mandatory post-fight press conference. Every fighter does this, win or lose. But Ronda refused, left the arena immediately, no interview, no respect to Holly. Just gone. Then she disappeared for months. No social media, no public appearances, silent. When she finally spoke, it was on Ellen, crying about suicide thoughts, which is serious and deserves sympathy. But she never said, Holly was the better fighter. She never gave Holly credit. It was all about her pain, her suffering, never about respecting the woman who beat her fairly.
What am I anymore if I'm not this? And I was literally sitting there and I'm nothing. I'm like, what do I do anymore? No one gives a didn't bother me anymore without that.
Then she came back 13 months later to fight Amanda Nunes, lost in 48 seconds and did the exact same thing. Refused the press conference, disappeared again, never gave Amanda respect, just vanished. Because Ronda Rousey can't handle accountability, never could, never will. So Ronda showed terrible sportsmanship as a winner and worse character as a loser. But recently she went on podcasts claiming the fans turned on her because MMA fans turn on everyone. She compared herself to legends like Chuck Liddell and Anderson Silva, said they all got the same treatment. But here's the thing, she's lying, and we have proof. On a recent Bert Kreischer podcast appearance, Ronda made a bold claim. She said MMA fans turn on every legend the moment they lose. That Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson, GSP, Anderson Silva, and others all got the "you ain't shit, you never were shit" treatment. And that she's just another victim of toxic MMA fans. There's one problem. She's completely wrong, and provably so. Let's fact-check Ronda's claims. Chuck Liddell. She said fans turned on him when he lost. False. Chuck retired in 2010 after a losing streak, and for years after, fans still called him the greatest light heavyweight of all time. He's beloved to this day, never lost his fan base. Rampage Jackson. Ronda said fans called him the next Mike Tyson, then turned on him after losses. Also false. Rampage was never compared to Mike Tyson. He had multiple losses before becoming champion, only defended once, and he carried his fan base all the way to Bellator, still loved. Georgia St. Pierre. She said fans turned on GSP, possibly the worst example. GSP is a consensus top 3 greatest fighter of all time. After losing to Matt Serra in 2007, he never lost again. He won the rematch and dominated for years. Retired as champion, came back and won another title. Universally beloved. What is she talking about? Anderson Silva. She said fans turned on Anderson. Dead wrong. Anderson lost to Chris Weidman twice. Nobody called him washed, people still believed in him. He's so beloved that fans thought he'd beat Jake Paul in boxing at 47 years old. That's how much respect he still has. But Ronda didn't stop there. She made another claim that exposed her delusion even further. She said the only reason fans love Khabib is because he retired undefeated. And if he'd kept fighting, fans would have turned on him too. This might be the most telling statement she's ever made. Ronda claimed Khabib is only beloved because he retired undefeated, that fans have their lips planted firmly at the base of Khabib's ass, her words, because he quit before reaching his limit. This reveals everything about how Ronda thinks. She believes being undefeated is the only thing that matters, that fans only care about records, but she's wrong. His career never bled, never got cut by retiring. That's why fans love him, not just the record, the way he carried himself, with humility, with respect, everything Ronda isn't. And here's the kicker. Charles Oliveira has 10 losses. Max Holloway has multiple losses. Dustin Poirier has multiple losses. All beloved, all respected. Because they show up. They give respect. They don't run from accountability. Ronda's claim that fans only love undefeated fighters is projection. She's the one who can't handle losing, not the fans. But the most insulting part of Ronda's podcast tour came when she attacked the people who supported her most, her biggest fans. The media members who covered her every move, and specifically Joe Rogan and Ariel Helwani. On the podcast, Ronda called Joe Rogan a fan with an audience, said he's not an expert, said Taekwondo, who called her the greatest combat sports athlete of all time, who said she could beat half the male bantamweights, her biggest supporter, and she disrespected him. Then she talked about Ariel Helwani, said she doesn't talk to him anymore because he was fake, that he pretended to be her friend but criticized her. But here's the thing, Ariel covered Ronda fairly. He praised her accomplishments. He called her one of the most important fighters in MMA history, but when she lost and disappeared, he criticized her behavior, not her fighting, her character, and Ronda couldn't handle it. Ariel Helwani responded to Ronda's comments, and he said something important. Ronda, the fans did nothing to you. They idolized you. They loved you. You were at every event, Brazil, Australia, everywhere, and they treated you like a superstar. You lost, and instead of letting them love you through it, you blamed them. You disappeared. You refused interviews. You looked at the media and fans with disgust. You didn't allow them to support you. So Ronda spent a decade rewriting history, claiming fans turned on legends when they lost, claiming she's a victim of toxic MMA culture. But there's one more problem. She did the exact same thing in WWE, different sport. Same behavior, same result. And it proves this isn't about MMA fans, it's about Ronda. In her recent podcast appearance, Ronda praised WWE fans, said they have reverence for legends unlike MMA fans. But here's the problem. WWE fans hate Ronda too, because she showed up with the same entitled attitude, and she alienated them the exact same way. 2018 Ronda joins WWE claiming she's a lifelong wrestling fan. That it's a dream come true. But during her run, it became obvious she didn't care. She couldn't name basic wrestling history. She botched promos. And worst of all, she called WWE fake fighting for ungrateful fans. This is the ultimate sin in pro wrestling. You never call it fake, you never insult the fans. Ronda did both.
Everybody, WWE Universe included. I meant that I'm going to disrespect the sport that they all love so much. Oh, don't break kayfabe, Ronda. Wrestling's it's scripted, it's made up, it's not real. None of those bitches can fucking touch me. The end.
Pro wrestlers work 300 days a year. They train for years to perfect their craft. They work through injuries, and Ronda showed up acting like she was doing WWE a favor. Like they should be grateful she bothered to show up. The same entitlement she had in MMA and WWE fans turned on her immediately. But the fake fan comments were just the start. And because when Becky Lynch got more cheers than Ronda, she couldn't handle it. And she responded exactly like she did with Holly Holm, by running away. 2019 Ronda is booked to main event WrestleMania 35 against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Historic. First women's WrestleMania main event. But instead of embracing it, Ronda complained. Said the storyline wasn't fair. Said Becky was getting too much attention. And when Becky got louder cheers, Ronda started working stiff, hitting people harder than necessary because she was frustrated. After WrestleMania, when she lost the match, Ronda took her ball and went home. Left WWE for over a year. Came back briefly in 2022. Had a mediocre run, then left again. Same pattern. Show up entitled. Get upset when people don't worship you. Leave when things get hard. WWE fans learned what MMA fans already knew. Ronda Rousey can't handle adversity. So Ronda burned bridges in two industries, alienated two fan bases, and in 2023 she revealed something that made even her remaining supporters turn away forever. The Sandy Hook conspiracy. 2013. Early in her career before she became a megastar, Ronda shared a conspiracy video questioning whether the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting was real. 20 children and 6 adults were murdered, and Ronda promoted a video suggesting it might have been faked. She deleted it, never apologized. Until 2023. In her 2023 book, Ronda addressed it. But instead of sincerely apologizing, she said she was just asking questions, and people misunderstood her intentions. This wasn't a teenager making a mistake. This was a 26-year-old adult promoting conspiracy theories about murdered children. And her apology, a decade late, was weak, defensive, and made it about herself. This was the final straw. You can excuse poor sportsmanship as competition. You can excuse bad coaching as naivety. But promoting conspiracies about dead children, there's no excuse. And Ronda's response proved she still doesn't get it. She's still the victim in her own mind. Always. So why does everyone hate Ronda Rousey? It's not because she lost. It's because of how she acted when she won and how she ran when she lost. It's because she spent a decade blaming fans, media, and entire sports for her own character flaws. It's because she rewrites history to avoid accountability. It's because she alienated two fan bases in two different sports with the same entitled behavior. And it's because even now on Podcast 2025, she's still playing the victim.
You wouldn't know. He's not an expert, he's a fan with an audience.
Ronda Rousey could have been a beloved legend. Instead, she's a cautionary tale about what happens when talent meets terrible character and an ego that refuses to learn. Ronda Rousey went 12-0, built women's MMA, and became the biggest female athlete in the world. Then she lost twice, blamed everyone but herself, and spent a decade proving why character matters more than wins. But she's not alone. Another fighter built a career on trash talk, insulted opponents and their families, and became the most polarizing heel in the UFC. His name is Colby Covington. And whether his act is real or fake, the hate is very, very real. That story, it's coming exclusively for channel members first.
Wait till I see you next time. Wait till I see you next time. You're dead. You're dead.
Really?
Coming for you. And you're a f***ing coward, your wife's a hoe, and she has fake tits on her chest, and you're a piece of shit father.
If you enjoyed watching a masterclass in self-destruction, smash that like button harder than Holly's head kick. Subscribe so YouTube knows you have good taste. And if you want early access to videos like the Colby Covington breakdown plus bonus content, hit that join button and become a member. You'll get videos before everyone else, behind-the-scenes breakdowns, and exclusive fighter analysis you won't find anywhere else. Comment below telling me which hated fighter I should cover next. Because trust me, there's a long list. Appreciate you sticking around for this one.